Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight, I want you to close your eyes for a moment, just metaphorically. Picture your dreams. That bizarre, beautiful, terrifying, often utterly personal landscape where your subconscious plays out its nightly theater. For centuries, millennia even, dreams have been one of humanity's last true bastions of privacy. A secret garden of the mind, accessible only to you. But what if that changed? What if the ethereal curtain between individual dreamscapes suddenly, irrevocably, dissolved? What if, when you drifted off to sleep tonight, you didn't just experience your own nocturnal wanderings, but also glimpsed into the minds of your neighbors, your colleagues, strangers across the globe? Imagine the sheer, unimaginable chaos and connection that would unfurl. This isn't just about knowing someone's deepest fears or desires. It's about experiencing them, feeling them, sharing the very fabric of their unconscious reality. Tonight, we dive deep into a world where dreams were shared, exploring how such a profound shift would reshape every facet of human existence, from our most intimate relationships to the very structure of society itself. Prepare yourselves, because the world we're about to explore is far stranger and more interconnected than anything you've ever dreamt of. The dawn of shared dreaming. World awakens. How would humanity even discover such a monumental shift? It wouldn't be a sudden, global announcement, but rather a creeping, unsettling realization. It might begin subtly, with individuals reporting increasingly vivid, yet distinctly unfamiliar dream fragments. A woman might describe flying over a city she's never seen, only for a news report a week later to feature a man from another continent who dreamt of soaring over his hometown, with the exact same architectural details and feeling of exhilaration. Children, often more attuned to the subtle shifts in reality, might be the first to articulate it, describing shared nightmares in playgrounds or recounting the same fantastical adventures during show and tell. At first, it would be dismissed as coincidence, a collective unconscious at play, or perhaps even a new form of mass hysteria. But the incidents would escalate. People would begin to recognize specific individuals within their dreamscapes, not just faces, but distinct personalities, voices, and emotional signatures. Imagine waking up convinced you just spent hours talking with your distant cousin about their job promotion, only to call them and find they had the exact same dream, from your perspective. Scientists, initially baffled, would begin to investigate. Neurologists, sleep researchers, and psychologists would form unprecedented collaborations. Advanced brain imaging techniques, already capable of rudimentary dream pattern recognition, would start to pick up synchronous neural activity between sleeping individuals miles apart. Perhaps a new kind of resonant brainwave, dubbed delta-sync waves, would be identified, acting as the conduit for this shared experience. The initial public reaction would be a mixture of profound wonder and immense dread. For every person thrilled by the prospect of such deep connection, another would be utterly terrified by the irreversible loss of personal sanctuary. Governments would scramble, privacy advocates would rage, and religious leaders would grapple with the theological implications. The very definition of self would be called into question, as our subconscious ceased to be solely our own. Societal transformation. Echoes in the collective mind. Once the reality of shared dreaming became undeniable, society would undergo an unprecedented transformation. On the positive side, the potential for empathy and understanding would be immense. Imagine world leaders literally walking in each other's dreams, experiencing the fears and hopes of rival nations firsthand. Cultural barriers could crumble as people collectively experienced traditions and daily lives from across the globe. Shared therapy sessions could emerge, where groups of individuals grappling with similar traumas could navigate their subconscious landscapes together, offering mutual support in a truly immersive way. Creative collaborations would reach new heights. Artists could literally blend their dreamscapes, constructing fantastical worlds born from multiple imaginations. Architects could design buildings in shared visions, and musicians could compose symphonies within a collective auditory dream experience. Educational systems could be revolutionized, allowing students to experience historical events or complex scientific principles through a collective dream scenario, enhancing learning in ways previously unimaginable. However, the shadows of this new reality would be equally profound. The erosion of privacy would be devastating for many. Intimate relationships would be tested, as partners would become privy to each other's most private fears, fantasies, and even attractions. Trust, or the lack thereof, would be laid bare in the most vulnerable state. Corporations would quickly identify shared dreaming as the ultimate marketing frontier. Imagine targeted advertising infiltrating your subconscious, subtly influencing your desires through dream imagery. The concept of dream tourism could emerge, where individuals pay to enter curated, entertaining shared dream experiences, potentially leading to a highly commercialized and controlled dream economy. Governments, in a bid to maintain order, might attempt to regulate shared dreaming, perhaps establishing dream-free zones or developing technologies to block certain individuals from collective dreams, though the ethical implications of such control would be monstrous. Even more disturbingly, the potential for psychological warfare would be terrifying. Imagine a nation projecting propaganda, fear, or even debilitating nightmares into the collective subconscious of an enemy population. The very fabric of societal trust, already fragile, could fray under the constant, unfiltered exposure to humanity's collective anxieties and aggression. The personal experience. Labyrinth of identity, the impact on individual identity, would be perhaps the most profound and challenging aspect of shared dreaming. What does it mean to be you, when your most private thoughts and emotions are no longer exclusively yours? The line between personal subconscious and collective consciousness would blur, creating a complex labyrinth of self-discovery and potential existential crisis. Many would struggle to distinguish their own anxieties from those they've absorbed from others, leading to heightened levels of stress, confusion, and even a collective form of identity diffusion. Psychologists would face an entirely new set of disorders. Dream echo syndrome, where individuals experience persistent, intrusive dream fragments from others, or collective nightmare disorder, where a shared traumatic dream event leads to widespread, synchronous psychological distress. Love and relationships would be utterly transformed. Imagine the unparalleled intimacy of truly sharing your partner's deepest desires and fears, yet also the potential for devastating revelations. A stray dream of an ex-lover, a fleeting fantasy of a stranger, or a deeply buried insecurity could be exposed, testing the bonds of even the strongest relationships. Some couples might find unprecedented connection, transcending verbal communication through the raw, unfiltered honesty of shared dreams. Others might crumble under the weight of such profound transparency. Children, growing up in this new world, might develop a fundamentally different sense of self, one inherently connected to a larger consciousness from birth. They might see individual identity as a mere facet of a grander, collective dream self, leading to new philosophical and spiritual frameworks. Dream communities and subcultures would inevitably form. Some would embrace the connection, forming dream covens or collective consciousness groups dedicated to exploring and manipulating the shared dream space. Others might seek ways to isolate themselves, developing mental disciplines or even pharmacological solutions to create dream shields, desperately trying to reclaim their individual subconscious sanctity. The unforeseen consequences and the future. Echoes of eternity as humanity adapted, or struggled to adapt, to shared dreaming, unforeseen consequences would undoubtedly emerge. One of the most intriguing possibilities is the potential for a truly collective dream self. A nascent, emergent superconsciousness born from the constant intermingling of billions of human minds. Could this collective entity develop its own desires, its own will, independent of the individuals comprising it? Would humanity be on the precipice of an unprecedented evolutionary leap, moving beyond individual consciousness to a planetary mind? Or would it be the ultimate dissolution of individuality, a terrifying descent into a uniform, homogenized mental state? The scientific and philosophical hunt for the source of shared dreams would be relentless. Is it a dormant biological function, suddenly activated? A global psychic awakening, proof of a deeper, interconnected reality that we were previously blind to? Or perhaps an external influence, a cosmic signal, or even a deliberate manipulation? Theories would range from the plausible to the fantastical, sparking new scientific fields and spiritual movements. The implications for understanding the nature of reality itself would be staggering. If our dreams are no longer purely internal, does that mean consciousness itself is not confined to the individual brain? Could this lead to a greater understanding of the universe, or simply overwhelm us with its complexity? Ultimately, the question would persist. Is shared dreaming a net positive or negative for humanity? Would it lead to unparalleled peace and understanding, or usher in an era of profound psychological fragility and a loss of the very essence of what it means to be human? Imagine a future where you don't just wake up from your own dreams, but from the combined nocturnal symphony of a billion minds, each ripple of thought and emotion echoing through your own consciousness, forever changing your perception of self and reality. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my YouTube channel for more interesting videos.